If I'm honest, it's pretty rare these days that I take a product out of its box and step back in amazement. But that is exactly what happened with the JBL Go 3. Welcome back to Mark Ellis Reviews. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed yet, just hit the little button below, click the bell, and you'll never miss an episode. This is the JBL Go 3 waterproof Bluetooth speaker. I didn't have huge expectations for this speaker, to be completely honest. I bought it for one very specific reason, which I'll get onto in a bit. But I think my recent experiences with the likes of the HomePod Mini and the Google Nest Audio have left me a little bit underwhelmed about these kind of devices. I think, as I mentioned in my recent comparison between the Nest Audio and the HomePod Mini, these things sound like they look they should sound. You know, for all the computational audio, all that stuff, they just sound like pretty good speakers. You know, I wasn't blown away by them, I just got the sound I expected. That was not the case with this JBL Go 3. Quick spoiler, it sounds amazing, which I'll get onto. I'll also get onto why this has filled a very important gap in my life a bit later. But first, let's get into it. So who is this for? Well, as the name implies, the Go 3 can be taken pretty much anywhere. It's got an IP67 waterproof and dustproof rating, so you can submerge it if you need to, you can get it wet, you haven't got to worry about it basically. And I think for that reason, and if you look on the JBL website, they show pictures of people having barbecues and working out outside to it and camping and all that sort of stuff. So it's that kind of speaker that you take with you out and about. Again, it's not why I'm using it, I'll get onto that later, but yeah, if you're the sort of person who loves the outdoor life, loves a bit of music while you're doing that, it's built for you. I bought this for £39.99 UK pounds. That was as part of an Amazon deal. I think normally it retails for about £50, $50, $60, something like that. For me, I think that's a great price. Its nearest competitor is, I have to look up the name, as always with Sony products, is the Sony SRS XB12. That is again about anywhere between, you can have it for £40 to £60, same in dollars roughly. And I think at that price, it's almost a no-brainer. I think once you go beyond the £90, £100 barrier, that starts to get a bit tricky in terms of, you know, do I go ahead and spend this money? Price-wise, I think JBL have completely nailed it. I love how this thing feels. It's got that absolute confidence about it that you could pick it up and throw it around and chuck it in your bag, lob it on the floor, drop it like I did a minute ago, and just not worry about it. It's got this kind of very tight fabric finish, which is a little bit like the HomePod Mini, but it's much, much tighter in terms of, there's no give in it at all. It also has this kind of rubberized bottom so it doesn't slip on any surface. Feels so tight and well put together, and it just, again, it exudes confidence, which is, again, coming back to the reason this speaker exists. You want that. You don't want to worry about this thing. You want to lob it around. JBL don't give you a case for it, which I think says everything really. You can get aftermarket cases. I'll put a link in the description to one that looks pretty good. But apart from that, you just don't need it. You know, it's got this little kind of hook thing on it as well, which obviously you can dangle it around your finger, but you can also hang it from things if you need to. It's just very conveniently designed. It's also got that classic massive JBL branding on it. You know, they're very confident about that. It comes in lots of different colours if you're up for that. This is the kind of plain old black version, which I like, but there's lots of different colour options if you're that way inclined and you want to, you know, spice up the JBL Go 3 a little bit. It just has lots of personality. One thing I love, I will just demonstrate it, is the noise it makes when you turn it on. And then when you turn it off. It's completely pointless, it has no impact or bearing on the functionality, but it's just got a lot of character. And I think, again, going back to HomePod Mini, Nest Audio, Alexas, if you put the voice assistants to one side, as devices, they just don't have any personality. They're little round balls, they're little oblong things. It's just fun, and I love that. I love that kind of design, so well done, JBL. The other thing to mention, which I love, is the hardware buttons. On a lot of other devices these days, we seem to be getting these non-mechanical, touch-sensitive buttons, and I've never really understood why they exist, because they're just annoying. You know, you hit them accidentally, you don't get any tactile feedback from them. I just don't like them at all. The JBL Go 3 doesn't have that. It has proper clicky buttons, which are so satisfying to use. They're just clicky enough to not be able to accidentally click them when you don't want to, and you just get that feedback, that tactile feedback, and every button on it actually. And there aren't that many buttons. You know, you get play, pause, volume up and down, power on, power off, Bluetooth. That's all you get, but it's, yeah, they just feel so good. So again, thank you, JBL. Now the sound. If you've watched this channel before, you'll know that sound is a big, big thing for me. I like things that sound nice. Again, I'll just reiterate, I did not have high expectations for this. I think I've been, I suppose in a way, disillusioned a little bit by other smart home speakers recently, which does sound okay. When I first plugged this in and turned it on, I did genuinely step back, mouth aghast. It was like, wow, that is incredible. I'm not going to attempt to play this for you on a video because you can't experience it. You have to hear these things in person. But suffice to say, this JBL Go 3 sounds fantastic. The best way to describe the sound this produces is it's like a kind of live sounding sound, which is no surprise really. JBL are huge in pro audio, that's their background. I think they even quote it that this uses JBL Pro Sound Tech, whatever that is. It's just a very simple, classic speaker setup with a nice enclosure. And that works. Simplicity works for all the computational audio and 3D clever audio, all the stuff that you see in things like the Echo Studio and the HomePod. Sometimes simplicity gets you there far quicker, and it just produces a much more enjoyable sound. Now, it's not a sound that audiophiles are going to be impressed with whatsoever, and it may not be for everyone, to be completely honest. Rock, it seems to be particularly well tuned for. Again, no surprise when you consider JBL's heritage, but I've tried it with dance music, with pop, and I've also tried it quite a bit with podcasts, and it delivers fantastic podcast playback. Voice it just nails it, no problem whatsoever. It also fills a room pretty easily. I've had it in one room and then left the room, and you can still hear it nicely. It's nice and loud. There's no noticeable distortion. There's no particular frequencies that are too harsh. You don't get really deep bass, don't get me wrong, but it's just a pleasant sound. It's just an impressive sound given its size. It's just a refreshingly bold, loud sound, no distortion. I don't think you would be unimpressed with this. The battery life's interesting. It's rated at 5 hours, and if I'm totally honest, I'd just like it to have a bit more headroom. That said, and as you know, I don't do in-depth, kind of detailed analysis on battery life on this channel, but in my general everyday use, it seems to do pretty well, actually. I haven't even charged it yet in the 2 weeks that I've been using it. And I've not used it day in, day out, but I've used it every day. The only time I think it might be a worry is if you're taking it out for extended periods of time. So if you're perhaps going camping or something, or if you're going down to the beach or whatever you're doing and you want to have this with you all day, those 5 hours might evaporate quite quickly. They may not, but it's one of those things where you'd probably want to take with you a battery charger, a battery pack, just to get you through just in case. But the other thing it has, and the way it charges, is via USB-C. I know I'm very boring about this, but everything else on this desk, apart from my iPhone, everything else charges via USB-C, and it's just so convenient that you can just unplug something, plug it into this, and away you go. The only other thing that I'm a little bit disappointed with is the fact that the only way that you know if it's running out of battery is when the LED starts flashing. It would be nice to have some way of finding out how much battery it's got. I love the feature on the Sony XM4s where you can hold down the power button briefly and it will tell you, someone will actually say to you how much battery you have left. The Go 3 doesn't seem to communicate battery life back to iOS, which some Bluetooth headphones and speakers do. A little gripe, but it does mean that obviously you'll always have to think about charging it if you're going out to use it for extended periods of time. It would just be nice to know that actually you've got 95% left, you haven't got to worry about it. There's no way of knowing that. Small gripe, but it's worth mentioning. So what's my use case for this? It's actually really simple. This is now my perfect shower companion. No laughing at the back. In the past, I've had some very cheap Bluetooth speakers that you stick to the wall and they just sound terrible. I've even used my iPhone, given its water resistance. Although it sounds good, it doesn't sound anywhere near as good as this. Being able to put it in the shower and not worry about it. Now, I don't hang it in the shower, although technically you could do that. I just put it on the side and I don't worry about the moisture being built up in the room. It's just, again, I don't have to worry about it. And the volume is perfect. Even with a shower on, you can hear it perfectly. If you listen to a podcast, you can hear every single word that the person is saying. So this has become my shower companion. And to be honest, that's the main reason I bought it. I will use this during the summer when we get back to that stage. And at that point, I might revisit it on this channel and give you an update. But the main purpose of this speaker is to use it as a shower speaker. And it's brilliant. It's so good. If you're looking for something that you can take with you into the shower, it's just fantastic. Should you buy the Go 3? I think this comes down to a couple of things, really. No, let's say 3 things. The first thing is, if you are after just a portable, loud Bluetooth speaker that you can carry about anywhere you want and you don't have to worry about it, buy it. buy it now. Seriously, just stop watching this video, go and buy it. Like me, if you want a really good sounding speaker for the shower, buy it. Again, stop this video, go and buy it. If you're after a intelligent home assistant, don't buy it, because this does not include Alexa. It doesn't have any kind of built-in home assistant. It's just not that sort of speaker. It's a very simple Bluetooth speaker. So if that's what you're looking for, I'd recommend looking at something else. However, if you're more interested in a smart home speaker, keep watching for a link to my recent comparison between the HomePod Mini and the Google Nest Audio. And in the meantime, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you next time.